The post-credit scene of Venom Let There Be Carnage sees the hero slash vigilante slash anti-hero slash the lethal protector being zapped over into the MCU when the spell that Doctor Strange casts goes wrong. The post-credit scene for Spider-Man No Way Home says, yeah, no, we're not keeping this character around, and Kevin Feige gives him the boot out of the MCU. So all combined, Venom was in the MCU for a total of about 45 seconds. Now let's talk about why the character was booted out of the MCU. So the fact of the matter in regards to Venom is that it's one of those deals that had to be made between Marvel Studios and Sony. Marvel Studios agreed to let the character enter the MCU briefly so it gets more hype, it gets more traction, people talk about it, and it opens up the possibility of the multiverse, and it also, as we saw, leaves a piece of the symbiote behind, so they can work on that idea in relation to Spider-Man and the bigger MCU. Venom being zapped over into his own universe once again gives him an interesting kind of outlook on everything that's going on in the bigger Marvel universe. Not only that, it also makes him question various different elements. Peter Parker in that universe, other heroes and things like that, which obviously is a giant piece of connective tissue. So the logistics of why exactly Venom was kicked out of the MCU is pretty simple to explain. And it all comes down to Kevin Feige just agreeing to use the character for what was needed to be done so Sony can utilize a bigger part of the MCU. So the next time you see that character, whether it's Morbius or wherever he is, he can reference Spider-Man. He can reference things that happen in the bigger Marvel universe, but in that Eddie sort of confused fashion, it can be a big question mark whether he's insane, whether he actually went to that universe, is he actually factually saying anything that's true? And they can question that because, again, there's an alien speaking through him, and that alien connects to the bigger multiverse and is aware of Spider-Man. So if you really think about it, Feige was doing this out of a sort of necessity and a favor to Sony, so they're able to pull off their bigger universe and be able to kind of acknowledge the bigger picture of the Spider-Verse. And certainly the intent there from Kevin Feige was to just sort of tease the possibilities, but never to keep that Venom in continuity, or at least that specific version. Whether they proceed with using Eddie Brock, played by Tom Hardy in the MCU proper, and it's a variant, certainly would be interesting, but again, it's not really the same Venom. Sure, the symbiote could reference that movie and things, but it wouldn't be the same. So it's sort of like a, look, we did what we needed to, we got the hype there, Sony got what they wanted out of it, now it's back to basics. Venom, he's not here to stay, we're kicking him out because we never intended to keep him. And that's sort of the moral of the story there. It was a necessary move just to make the final film possible. Or the last film, not the final film.